Hello, everyone. Welcome to the new episode of Emphasis Hybrid Infrastructure Offerings. I am Anupam Singh, Offering Manager, and I have two esteemed guests with me who are senior industry advisors. We have Christopher Smiger, Corey, and we have Stephen Duders, Steve, who work with our clients, consulting and helping them fix their data center and cloud problems. Welcome, Steve, and welcome, Corey, to the show.
Thank you.
So let's start this fireside chat, Corey, with you. Uh, we have heard from Vilas in the previous episode that how hybrid infra is the way to go about, and that is the trend that we are seeing among all our clients. So for the customers who are completely in the data center or who are starting their journey, how do they assess the right fitment? How do they make their selections about their cloud strategy? If you can share some light on that.
So we usually come in with our customers and we try to be a strong cerebral partner so that we can figure out where they are today, where they want to be. We do a 1 week assessment initially, just in kind of question answers, no technologies being added to understand and determine that. Then once we get to that point, then we may come in and do a 30 to 40 day assessment activity that would allow us to bring in our tools and scripts that would stay on-prem, on technology, low touch environment type of tooling to do the scans from the bottom up automation space. We will do bottom up and analytics of the environment, looking for drift, configuration changes, hardware, firmware, all of the different infrastructure all the way through middleware and app layer, so that we can determine where any of the drift issues are. And when I talk about drift, it's basically looking for any kind of concern, deviation from standards. Maybe they have standards, maybe it's the industry standard we're looking at. Then we bring our technologists in to take a more of a deep dive report and say, here's your solution, here's where we see the problems, here's how to reduce your incidents, here's how to stabilize your environment or improve the environment in that way. We also will take that information and have a discussion about if your future path is the cloud, or you're in the cloud and you're not efficient, we'll help you to identify where you can become more efficient in those areas.
So a business-driven and a data-driven approach using drift analytics is the right assessment method that you are suggesting. Thank you.
We take a look at it from a technical perspective and also a business perspective focus.
Sure. Thank you. So, Steve, after talking about the assessment, the next logical point is a lot of customers whom I have spoken to, they face challenges during their cloud journey, during their migration. So if you can share what are some of the common challenges that the customer face and what are the best practices to mitigate those challenges on the migration journey to the cloud?
Sure. Great question. So many of our clients, they need to go all in on cloud to hit the business objectives. Unfortunately, most of them find that there's at least a percentage of their systems that are running on legacy operating systems, which may not be supported in the cloud. Another possibility is that they're supported today, but the application is unable to change. And if they move to the cloud within a year or so, they'll need to move back on-prem or exit the cloud as their support runs out. Also, certain systems have been tuned heavily over the years to deal with latency and performance sensitivities. So our data center rack solutions can help close these gaps and remain very cost efficient. The solutions meet the needs of the applications, but still minimize the cost by leveraging cloud for many of the infrastructure services. So, the application is running in the rack, but it's getting its backup and archive storage from a cloud provider. Also, the single rack is very popular since most clients need to shut down the data center to hit their cost targets. But they still have some space in a network closet or something that maybe was a test lab before the test systems moved to the cloud. And then our hybrid service systems, regardless of where they sit, on-prem, colo, or in the cloud.
Sure. So utilizing the legacy ones, keeping them on-prem, and while taking all the modern workloads to the cloud and maintaining them seamlessly across the space is a good hybrid infrastructure strategy. But Steve, I have often heard this skepticism about security, though cloud service providers are very heavily on security. But still, there are certain clients who talk about their security sensitive data workloads or any other workload. So, what is your recommendation regarding security policies in the hybrid space?
Well, as clients move into one or more clouds, in many cases they're leveraging more than one, the network and hence their attack surface grows as they make all these new connections. They also lose physical control of the data center, and that in and of itself results in a larger attack surface. But the reality is, with the pandemic and the necessity of work from home, this is going to happen regardless of cloud. So it's really, if you're going there anyway, you might as well take advantage of the cloud. The two things that we really focus on, one is the data itself, right? Ensuring that the data is protected during its entire life cycle, in motion, at rest, backup copies, DR copies, etc. And this is both an application and an infrastructure problem. You have to really do an all of the above approach. Also, though, moving to cloud is a great opportunity to reset the conversation on security layers that have been built up over time, sometimes over decades. A popular strategy is to level set security policy and start with a clean slate that's focused on only allowing secure protocols and making sure that everything moved to the cloud does meet a minimum security standard. But also, it's not all bad news. The cloud provides a lot of unique security benefits. Many of the services that you can get from cloud providers, they bring data together. They aggregate data from or in some cases billions of endpoints. And you get the benefit of that, right? You can see attacks as they move across the globe and across different industries. So, you're no longer alone out there.
So protecting the entire attack surface, which is prone by utilizing native cloud services, by re-looking at the security policies, by using the better protocols and policies, those are some of the best practices that we are talking for data protection and data workload. Thank you, Steve, for that. So my final question for this session to Corey. A lot of time clients start with a very big bang approach regarding cloud migration, cloud first strategy. They prepare the business case, often leading towards the cost takeout play sometimes. After few after few months, the cost takeout is gone. That case is the business case is no longer relevant, or down the line the OPEX starts growing. So, what are some of the technical and commercial optimization strategies that you can suggest ongoing basis?
So, yeah, it's a good question. It does dovetail into our first conversation, which is you do the assessment of the environment to determine what's there, what the configurations are. You work with the customer to understand business-wise where they're at. And then you start to look at their financials and we put in a financial optimization program. That financial optimization program not just analyzes the license costs, software costs, usage need, and technical review of. So as we go through that process, we identify where you may be cost overrun, you're on spending on different software. You may not be using the software, but you keep paying for it because often once it's purchased, procurement forgets or the technologists change and it just continues to perpetuate and be paid. So you're looking for those kinds of things first. You look for the low-hanging fruit first. And then once you get past that low-hanging fruit savings and help with your ROI, you then start to drive into technologies and how you can improve the technologies or close gaps in technologies with cheaper, more advanced technology-driven softwares like the Ansibles and the Nagioses and different products that are out there that are open source. And using those open source products and getting a maintenance agreement is often and most frequently from our experiences cheaper. We've done this on several of our clients. One client, we drove over $12 million over 3 years out of their operational costs as part of our optimization program. You run the optimization program and it never stops. It's an ongoing program. And that's the only way to continue to save. And when you're doing that, you're also perpetuating savings, which then derives new technologies and investments without the overhead cost of writing more CapEx type expenditures.
So utilizing your own dollar for your own better technology future. But a very interesting concept of continually auditing the space, utilizing open source technology tools, and making sure that whatever you have is best utilized. Thank you for those ideas, Corey. Thank you both of you for joining us today in the Fireside Chat, and we hope our listeners and viewers enjoyed the show. Until next time, thank you all from Emphasis Hybrid Infrastructure Offerings team. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.